Welcome to the Feng Shui Mastery Show, and today we're going to be looking at a feature of a beautiful chateau stroke hotel, looking at the Feng Shui features that it beholds in and around it. Now this particular property is based in a province called Limousin in northern France, and not very far from the town of Limoges. And we're going to look today more at the oldest school of Feng Shui, known as the Form School. And I thought this particular location was a good way of epitomizing some of the features associated with the Form School. So here we have the property itself, and in and around it there is an interesting display of many of the different elements, particularly the 5 elements that is fundamental in the philosophy of Feng Shui. For more knowledge about the basics in Feng Shui, you can go to my website www.fengshuimasteryshow.com. But here we have an amazing feature of representing some of the fundamental tenets of the Form School. So here we have an animated version where no matter what kind of house you have or building, you're always looking at the back to look for protection. So the Chinese from the I Ching school, which is a philosophical book about the book of changes in our own lives, the most important thing always, whether it's your house or your school or your room even, or your caravan or your mansion, you must always have something at the back of you to protect you, so that you're not open to attack. Which is why the Great Wall of China was built, because it kept on being invaded by the Mongolians, that is. So here the tortoise or the turtle is representing the steadiness, the protection. So it could be in the form of mountains or trees or a large landscape to protect this building. And then at the front you have what's called the phoenix, which is more about an introduction to space in front to allow new things to come in through the main entrance. And then either side, the right side is supposed to be just a little bit higher than the left side. So these promontories that exist in and around any structure are designed to create a flow of energy in and around this particular building. So returning to the property, look how small it appears now, but this is the Hotel de Cazine, Chateau de Cazine, and here at the back here we have an amazing arboretum full of an array of different kinds of trees, all showing a different kind of colour throughout the seasons, which also epitomizes the 5 elements I'll talk about later on. But what's important is that you have an array of space at the front, and in this case we've got water as well. And usually running water is more fortuitous, but nevertheless having water at all and people moving on that water in the form of skiing or boating is creating a flow, it's creating an energy, so that when people look at this there is movement. And any kind of movement that is at a certain space or pace is considered very auspicious in the Form School of Feng Shui. It's just looking at this building, it belongs to the 16th century, and it's completely dramatically changed since I saw it a couple of years ago. So now it's been totally renovated, created into a spa. So if you're going to have a healing space internally, you want something to attract you into that building, and they've done this very, very well, making it very attractive at the front here with the 2 pots, and cleaning and renovating all the brickwork. Amazing symmetry to this particular architecture. And then when you go inside, you're opened up to a different kind of space. Now I understand that the 5 elements is important, fundamental understanding in all Feng Shui buildings. And you want a little bit of each of these energies, like a fire energy, which is dynamic. Usually you would get that through lighting. An earth energy, anything that's terracotta or earthy. Metal is visible metal, or the design of the architect, of the ideas in that building. Water, we've already seen that on the outside. Can you get that on the inside? Yes, you can. And the element of wood. So usually wood is in the form of plants or living matter within an internal environment. So here we see, because of the transparency of the glass, we see the relationship of the inside and the outside, bringing in the wood element, the trees, the plants. And I would say that it would be beneficial to have some plants also on the inside here. But we've got the water element, we've got the light, the fire element, we've got the terracotta, which is in the square tiles, which is the earth element. But you could also have the earth element being showing up in pots, just pots. And you see this in a lot of Mediterranean countries, just ceramic pots, often with no wood element or plants in it at all. So you see you've got all those elements working with each other. The fire element is in the light, but you could also have maybe a coloured geranium inside or on the outside to bring in that elemental mix within any environment. Remember that now, looking at that old building, it's the spa, so it's about inviting people into a space where they want to heal. And one of the most important things, you can find this out on my other YouTubes, is how to cleanse a space. Especially if you've cleansed a space from an old building, you want to ensure that all the old energized patterns being dissipated. And there is a way of actually doing that. And you can actually conduct certain rituals, ceremonies, or the use of elements like salt, like water, like cleansing, like rice, to ensure that that space has been totally cleansed and all the old patterns of the people living there for centuries has been dissipated. So it's very important when you're creating this healing space that there are no old energetic patterns, because you're going to be letting go into that space. Once again, we have this fire element here. You've got the wood element, and also on the parquet flooring. And you can see there's quite a lot of it's got quite a lot of different textiles in it as well. You've got cloth here. You've got the amazing wallpaper, which is set in boxes, so that's a very earth type of element. And wood, you've got the wood in the corner here, as I said, the fire, and the metal is epitomized in the color of white, so you get a lot of metallic feel there. If you've got the bedrooms, we've got a mix of yin and yang. So the yin is the very feminine aspect to a building or a room, and they show up in curves. So you can see how a lot of this furniture has curves in it, so it's very appealing to the feminine in all of us. But likewise, the yang is more the strident aspects. You've got the hardness of the marble, you've got the colours, the black, yang, yin yang, white and black. So this is quite a yin moving room, and yin is more about letting go, relaxing, less strident than yang. So that's what you would want to do in a bedroom, is to relax and let go. Here we have the spa again, and the presence of water is very important. Water's used for all the kinds of therapeutic purposes throughout time, and the sounds of water is also therapeutic and healing. So you see how the 5 elements are integral to creating any space, whether you want to create a space of great action or a space of healing, a space of rest. they're all important to creating the very feeling that you want to offer to your guests. So looking at an aerial view, can you see now that at the back of the form school we were talking about, we have a great protector of this property. There is a great space at the front as well, inviting you into the entrance. And once again, reiterating that, this whole area changes with the seasons. So, the earth and metal element are more about late autumn, and the water element is about the winter, and then water leading into wood element is the early spring, and then wood and fire element is about the spring leading into the summer. So you can see that all these 5 elements are not just about showing up physically in our space, it's also the aspect of our timing as well. And once again, you can see very clearly here the water element in front influencing this building, is creating a relationship with it in terms of the eyes of the people looking out are connecting with water, and this is very, very auspicious. Once again, the trees are the protector. You could equally have had a mountain there, but in this case, these trees, and they've obviously been there for hundreds and hundreds of years, well established. Just to emphasize the water element again, here we have the house, protected from the back. On the right, it appears a little bit higher than the left, but doesn't show up very visibly here. It's more the back is more protected. And of course, why would people want to feel good? I mean, they come here to celebrate great feelings of good times, and this castle, this hotel, is renowned now for celebrating weddings. And remember, I was saying about the energy of the older building, where the spa is. People leave behind patterns of thinking, and if those patterns of thinking are strong enough, they actually create an invisible sense, an invisible pattern of thinking and feeling. So when there's good vibrations in any building, one cannot only but go away feeling good. And that is why it's very, very important to have lots of weddings and good ceremonial ventures at such a large building as this, because those good feelings and those good vibes are going to fill a building like this. So then it attracts people who want those experiences, plus when people stay, they have good vibrations. So when you look out on this particular horizon, you can only feel a sense of space, a sense of depth, and a sense of auspiciousness, with great protection from behind, as we can see here, and here's the hotel. So this is an opportunity for you to go forward into a beautiful environment. Any of the seasons would be fulfilling, and feel those good vibrations in the Chateau de Cazine.